Durag Diaries. Yo, what's good, people? Welcome back to the channel. We're here trying to keep up the consistency. And yeah, man. As you can see in the title, apparently EZE is confirmed as Spurs' #1 target. We heard the same thing last year. A move that didn't happen. But hey, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna discuss it. You guys can let me know what you think about it, but we're gonna go into the details. But before we do all of that, welcome to the channel. Make sure you like on your way in. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the post notification bell to stay up to date with all things Durag Diaries. But while I go on to King Kriller, man like KK, as he says, like the stream lads. Good morning, man like Beans on Toast. And good morning, Josh. Good morning, Josh. Yeah, Ebereche Eze. A lot of people have been a fan of him. A lot of news has been coming out recently that Spurs are going to be going back in for him this summer. Now, we know last summer, for the whole of June and July, we were briefed. And even prior to that, similar to what they're doing now, they briefed us on our targets. They said Conor Gallagher and Ebereche Eze are our two #1 targets. Spurs need to sign English players, for our homegrown quota, which made sense at the time. But most importantly, there are two positions that Spurs need: a midfielder, all-action midfielder, and someone that can play in the 10, but also operate off the left-hand side. Now, for me, at that point, I was more than happy to look at this move and say, let's get it done. More than happy. I thought Eze was a great player. I had a great season last year. I think Elise was the standout one, but Eze sort of maintained the consistency for Crystal Palace, kept them going for the majority of the year, maintained a good level and creating goals for Mateta. And as we're seeing this season again, great link up between him and Mateta. But one thing that I feel like was key in the summer of why we didn't move from in the first place was the price point. The price point that Crystal Palace are looking at is, for one, if you talk about hard owners, hard negotiators, people that you don't want to go into a deal with, someone that you don't want to try buy a player from, one of those teams is Steve Parish's Crystal Palace. He's just as bad as Levy. One of the worst. He's known for it. We know so many players. Zaha was kept prisoner there for so many years. So many years Zaha was kept prisoner. We just see with Mark Gahey, the little saga that happened in the summer. They really didn't want to let him go. We saw what happened with Elise, not last summer, but the summer before, when Chelsea had agreed a deal and he'd done and spun the block and said, nah. That ain't enough money. 35 million for my star player. There's no way. We're agreeing a new one. And we're getting it. We're going to get more money from next year, which they eventually done from Bayern Munich. So Steve Parish is a hard one to negotiate with. But I think the price point last year, you would have been looking at around 65 million pounds, similar to what we paid for Dominic Solanke. But at the same time, I don't feel like... I don't know. For me, I feel like 65 million pounds isn't that much money for a player of Eze's quality. I feel like the one thing with him is he gives me a bit of James Maddison vibes. As in, great technically. On the ball, you can't really question his ability. And on his day, he's providing a lot for the team. He steps up a lot for Crystal Palace, but even then, I think he's only got like 2 or 3 goals this season. He's took a step back on that sense and sort of left that to the likes of Ismail Assar and Mateta this season. But I don't know if this move would be the right one for us now. We saw, obviously, last summer, we made moves for a left winger. We signed Odobert. We signed Yamin Hyuk. We're obviously looking for a Son replacement this summer. And one of our main players that we're going to be bringing in is a multifunctional forward. That's the new buzzword, multifunctional forward that they're calling it. Someone that can operate off the left, but also can operate down the middle and potentially off the right. So with that in mind, I can't see how Eze fits into that mold. But also, I can't see how he fits into the team. We've now got two players that operate in his position and are arguably better and more consistent in James Maddison and well, James Maddison's definitely not the more consistent one. I'd just say he's at a better quantity and higher quality player. Especially when you look at the goals and assists, he's going to give you higher numbers. His all-round play may not be as impressive, but Kulusevski's created 20 chances in 2025 without making an assist. The most in the Premier League. This guy puts it on a plate. We just need someone to finish it. So I don't think EZE comes in and takes his spot. I don't believe it would happen. So I'm looking at this move and I'm like, £60 million on a player just to be in the squad. I'm not one that cares too much about the money, but at the same time, you need to make sure with Spurs in particular, if you're spending the money's being spent in the right way. Spending 65 million on a player to go on our bench, I don't think it's using our money correctly. But King Crelly, you asked who it's confirmed by. I'll be honest, I'll probably need to get better at this at actually screenshotting the links and then showing you guys, because people would think I'm just chatting rubbish. But I just see these things all across Twitter. I've been seeing it for the past couple of days, past week or two. All the news about EZE. So we just have to be honest. We have to be honest about it and just be like, look, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm giving to you. But I'm not going to complain if we get him, quality player, but not sure if he fixes our issues. And that's exactly where I'm at, Josh. That's where I'm at. I don't think that he's a player that's going to fix our issues. I don't think he's a player that slides into our first 11 right now, especially like off the back of this year's performance. He hasn't been amazing. He's not been, you know, the guy that's been pulling up trees. Of course, look, Crystal Palace are back above us, and I'm sure many of you are going to be tuned into that NAF show when Palace D just starts waffling on. And today I'm thinking of creating a bingo card. I'm thinking of creating a bingo card to just see if we can guess everything that D's gonna say. If you guys want to see that, let me know, and I'll swear I'll get working on it. A little bingo card of all D's sayings. When was the last time you won a trophy? Oh, are you gonna finish above us? Oh, what was your greatest achievement as a Spurs fan? Oh, why do you support Spurs? Like all of these same lines that he's been running for 9 weeks. Like I'm gonna do that. We're gonna create a bingo card and just see how many we can get. And if we get the full house, we're gonna have to make him do a forfeit or something. We're gonna have to. But morning, Dan. Good morning to you. I'll believe it when I see it, mate. Do you know what, Dan? I hear you. With Spurs and transfers, I would suggest to do that because there's so many times that, you know, us fans get gassed about a player potentially coming in and we don't get them. So, no, that is the right approach to take. Today is just on discussing it. We're just here to look at a potential move and if it would be a good move for us. But big up to my broski hyper every damn time. Big up to you. And Boris, EZE would be perfect for us considering he's a great talent across 3 places in the front, that being the left wing, 10, and the right wing. If we get him for a good price, I'd be happy with it. All right, Boris, what is a good price? What is a good price? Because I'll be real, I don't really see how he fits into our team across those 3 positions. In the 10, again, like I said, we have Madders, we have Kulu, who cover, and neither of those are getting sold or going anywhere in the summer. Off the right, you have Johnson, Yamin Hyok, and Kulu. He'll be deputizing whenever he's needed to fill in. Off the left at the moment, we have Son, Odebert, Moore. And look, Son's probably going to be the one that gets phased out next year. But as I said, we need a multifunctional forward, someone that can fill in at striker, but someone that can also play off the left. So we have to sit there and acknowledge, will he fit in the team? It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to see him get into that first 11. And especially when you're paying the money that that's going to be quoted from Crystal Palace. We know. We bid apparently Mark Gahey 70 million. We know it was rubbish. Shout out to Paul Robinson, by the way. Big shout out to PB. Yeah. Oh, that's my goalkeeper. When I grew up as a Spurs fan, I remember Paul Robinson. He wasn't the best, but that's a proper Spurs keeper. I know the people remember the goal he scored against Watford in our half, free kick straight over Ben Foster's head, dunking on that fool. That guy, Ben Foster, almost ruined my childhood. I swear, Spurs were gonna do back-to-back League Cups if it weren't for this guy doing up penalty research days before, the whole week before the Carabao Cup final, or Carling Cup, sorry, I should say. He was doing up research on all of our penalty takers. Man saved like 3 penalties, fam. I was almost in tears. I couldn't believe it, bruv. I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way did this keeper, a reserve one at that, because obviously Van der Sar was still their top goalkeeper, saving this many saving this many penalties. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, man, look, as Hyper say and Bean say, it's trench day, man. It's trench day. We're getting that Hurley pump. Make sure you hit the trench press. Make sure you go over to Fams on TV, drop a like on the video. I've been seeing people do that already. Shout out to them ones, the real ones, dropping a like way before the video is even on. When we start, the video should have like 25 likes, standard. Yeah. Because the man have been giving up their Friday nights for a long time just to speak to you guys. And trust me, I don't sleep well. It'll mash up my whole weekend. So tonight might be an early one, but make sure you're there, man. Trench Talks, 10 p.m. Fams on TV. Big up to the guys every single time. And like we've seen here, hit the likes, people. You'll never walk alone. Big up to Dean. He's feeling extra nice recently. Don't know if you saw Dean call out Hooks, yeah, or should we call him Shooks? Because, boy, all that talk. Liverpool just ran and snatched your chain. This is supposed to be your league. It's supposed to be your league, you know. Man, was talking about quad charge. Quad charge. They couldn't charge an electric car, fam. They ain't got nothing quad over there. Boris, he's an acolyte of Levy when it comes to negotiating. He's nowhere near as bad as Levy. We saw how much Levy finessed Bayern Munich for 1 year contract time on Kane. I don't even think if we finessed Bayern Munich for that one. I just think that Bayern Munich was so desperate to get him. And as we've seen, they didn't pay all that money because we're going to give him back for it for Tell. Tell's going to end up paying 60 million for Tell. That's half of the Kane money on. Half of the Kane money done. So we're the ones that got finessed. Yeah, we got finessed. Let's get something straight. Tottenham doing big business. I hope so. I hope so, Beans. It's very rare that Tottenham do big business. I'll be honest. So, see someone quote tweet something about me. Trying to say Salah has the streets. Salah could never have the streets, by the way. I just want to make that clear. Salah can have all the records he likes. He can be scoring 40 goals, 25 assists this season, and he still won't have the streets. Let's have it right. Salah just is effective. He's an effective footballer. But he's not a footballer that is pretty on the eye. There's no chance. There's no chance. No one's ever going to tell me 10 to 15 years you're going to go back and watch Salah compilations. What would you be watching, bro? Watching, man, the ball bobble over a player's leg, yeah? The ball all bouncing and bobbling through players' legs, hitting one side the leg, doing a little nutmeg. Allow it. There's no one in 15 years that's going to be going back and watching a Salah compilation. You might, 15 years ago from now, in 2025, I'm going back to 2010. Let me tell you players that had the streets. A Joe Cole, I might go watch a Joe Cole thing. 2010 is probably a bit late for him. That was Liverpool days. It weren't pretty them times. But still, that was someone that you could respect. 07, 08, coming through Mourinho's Chelsea. You knew top baller, bro. Had the streets. One of the first players to score a little back heel. Who else had the streets? Let me think now. We're going to go way back. We're doing some football nostalgia. 2010. Adel Taarabt. Adel Taarabt was coming through these times. He had the streets. Hey, Adel Taarabt at Fulham was going crazy. He was going crazy. I know people don't know about the goal where man was dribbling through from the halfway line outside the box. Done the little, outside the boot, finish into the corner. He was doing this. Players were doing this long before these new time ballers doing a little outside of foot thing. Like, they didn't have it like when Tarat was doing it, no one was doing it. No one. Can't tell me Salah had the streets like Adel Tarat. There's no way. Hatem Ben Arfa. Salah will never have the streets like these, man. Come on, man. What are we doing here? And Kulu's a top player. I just need to clarify that. Kulu is a top player. Big facts. Hey, that is crazy. I just see this. That is crazy, Dean. Big hyper. I said big hyper. Why for that? Why for that? But EZE is an upgrade on what we got. It's a good point. It's a good point. But let me know who you're comparing him to, Dan, because then I'll be able to justify what I think, whether he is an upgrade or not. I don't think he's an upgrade on the first 11. That's what I would say. Or I don't think he's a profile that we need in our first 11 currently. Especially off the left side. He's better in the middle than he is off the left-hand side, I'll be honest. So I'm not that fond of him playing out on the wing. Boris. Damn, I see why Danso's so strong. Seemed at age 14, he got scholarship offers from rugby clubs and private schools. You know, one thing that I've been really impressed with Kevin Danso is his ability to drive out with the ball. Even against Manchester City, there's a few times when he looks like he's in trouble, but he just powers through the midfield and just drive with the ball straight forward. He's got long legs. He carries the ball really well, covers a lot of ground. I feel like sometimes he could work on his positioning and can maybe be a bit more calmer in moments. But I have been really impressed with Danso, I must say. I don't feel like a lot of people have spoken about him because they don't want to go early, but I've been really impressed with Danso. Been really impressed with what he's got going on. Big up to Inacoma. Good evening to you as well. How are you doing, my bro? What do you think of EZE potentially coming to Spurs? Let me know your thoughts. But let's be honest, Palace are mainly known to wider than the UK just from Simon Jordan being their ex-owner. I'll be honest, I didn't even think Palace are known as like, for me, the hood club from London, you know. Palace is in South London, bro. That's where all the hoodman play. All the academy ballers that get kicked out and go to prison, they all say they played at Palace, bro. I swear. Big up to Palace, though. I'll be real. Palace is like the one team that really champions the community, man. They really champion their community. So I say big up to Palace. You definitely Durag Diaries. You do need to put a U though, because the do is, I don't know, spelled that way, it just looks a bit weird, you know what I mean? EZE is so much better than BJ. Yeah, he's a better player, but again, is he more effective than Brennan Johnson in scoring goals? That's a question I'll ask you guys. I'm just going to leave that at that. 40 to 50 million at most. He'd easily replace Johnson on the right when Son is tired. EZE would be perfect. And let's be honest, we know Moore will get cup games given slowly. Will get cup games given slowly more time, not off the bat. Yeah, 40, 50 million. 40, 50 million could easily replace Johnson. I agree with that. And I feel like we do need to bring a player that can replace Johnson. But also, I think Johnson's someone that is, he can be used. He can be used. He's a player that we're going to keep around. We have to just be realistic about it. He's not going to be sold this summer. He's our top goal scorer at this moment in time. So some people and a lot of fans do really like him. Understandably so. If he's our top goal scorer, then I can't really say anything. But his all-round play is not that great. But ultimately, yeah, man, like he scores goals and you can't take nothing away from a player that scores goals. Putting the ball in the back of the net is the most important thing in football. We have to be honest about it. But big up to my guy, Kiwi Spurs. Big up my guy looking wavy. Come on, man. Fresh trim settings. It's been a tough couple weeks, man. You know, Spurs went on a 3-game winning run, and I was like, yeah, let me get a trim now. You know, back to it, and then they lose. They lose after that. So typical. Mm. Yeah, it would be wild if it was taken out of context, but I'm just. Oh fuck, yo. You ever bite the inside of your cheek? Yo, that thing hurts still. Yeah, you're right though. You are right. It is a wild statement, but it's the truth. I'm just being honest, isn't it? You see, one thing I'll give to you guys, I'm always just gonna keep it real. Not gonna lie. But I'll be real, Eze signing don't really move me. It would have been better if we got him last season. That's it. Jay, nail on the head. You hit the nail on its head with a hammer. I was excited for this last season. At this point, it don't move me. It don't move me. Signing Eze, I'm not gonna jump up and be like, hey, yes, we're gonna be a lot better. I don't think he he improves our attack for depth wise, but he doesn't come into the first team lineup and make us way better. It just doesn't happen. So we have to be honest about it. Like it doesn't move me whatsoever. We were linked with Eze all last summer. Levy has no ambition, doesn't pay the wages. I don't even think the wages would have been an issue for Eze. Because let me check now. I reckon Eze is on about 80k a week at Crystal Palace, and that's probably pushing it. That is probably pushing it. So I don't think wages will ever be a problem for us with a player like Crystal Palace. Oh, he's on 105k, no, 100k a week on the dot. So if he was to come Spurs, yeah, you're right. This could be a problem because he probably want to, if not at least get 120, 30, maybe even a 40, 50k. Because if he signs a new contract at Crystal Palace, he'd easily be their highest paid player. I can't believe Daichi Kamada's on 105k a week. He's been trashed this week. Eddie Nketiah on 90k a week is crazy as well. Madness. So yeah, it might be one wage-wise that could be a pushing point or sticking point, sorry, for Daniel Levy, but we can see. We can see how it plays out. Hey, Jay, I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm glad you said his name. I'm glad you said his name, bro. I remember it all. You don't get, you see me. People follow me on Twitter. There's probably not many of you, yeah, that follow me on Twitter for like a long time. But if you go back 2 or 3 years, my name on Twitter wasn't even Jords. It was Lafayette. Yeah, Lafayette. If people know who that's Ndombele. I was an Ndombele stan. Anywhere you caught me, I'm chatting about Ndombele. Because when he came to Spurs, gas. Yeah, I was like, we've got a baller. We finally got Jogo Benito back at Spurs. I would take him back in a heartbeat. I ain't gonna lie. I'll take Ndombele. I don't care about him being a bit lazy. I don't care about him being fat and taking a trip to McDonald's every day. I don't care. Ndombele is Jogo Benito, and I'll take him back in a heartbeat. Such a baller. I remember the goal against Newcastle. I remember on his debut, he was moving worksy. The goal against Stoke, that crazy lob, by the way, one of the best goals I've actually seen. It was on the byline, and man just lobbed it over the goalkeeper. There was just everything about Ndombele. He reminds me of a player that I used to play with when I was young, where they have like a bit of a big body, you know. They use their backside to like defend them from players trying to get up behind them, pause. But you know what I mean? Like the area, like they're surrounding the area, just moving around. But they turn their feet is like so quick. They're not fast. They're not too quick on the ball. But their feet are so good in the tight areas. It's similar to I'm not saying he's in, but like similar to like a Santi Cazorla. Don't really need pace, but the feet, second to none. I love those players. Absolutely love those players. Ndombele is one of my favorite Spurs players of all time. I'll be so real. He was a disappointment, and some people can call him a flop. Cool, but definitely one of like I'll speak about Ndombele in 20 years about how this signing didn't work out, but how I was still in love with the player. Pause. But bro, Ndombele, yo, it's Jay, man. You brought back some memories now. Do you know how cold Ndombele was? Do people not actually take in how cold he was at Spurs? And he just never really got the chance. There was that time under Conte, who's our best midfielder. That midfield duo of Ndombele and Højbjerg for some time was cold. It was cold when we were pushing for top. They were holding it down. He was our best midfielder. But I feel like he just struggled with the managers we had. We had the Mourinhos with him. We had the Nunos with him. We had Conte. We never had a manager that really gave him the love that he needed. I know Mourinho did for a temporary time, but then Mourinho went. Obviously, man, we're doing extra training sessions in the COVID and them things. Both of them getting fined for it, but Mourinho was just covering the costs. Like, no, don't worry, man. But yeah, man, you've taken it back. Hey, Ndombele. Oh, how I miss a player like that. We need one. Big up to Dan Skyline. We were just talking about him yesterday, you know. Who was in the chat? Maybe like Paul or something was in the chat. But Ginola, that's one that, bro, if you're going back late 90s and them things, there's not much better players in the project. Like, Ginola is legit one of the best players to play in the Premier League. Legit. I'm sure people of like the older generation, Dean, who's in the chat, will tell you, yeah. Dean will tell you straight up. Ginola, bowler. Crazy. What he could do with his feet was ahead of his time. He was way ahead of his time. A proper French baller still. But yes, my bro, Blacker, what are you saying? Jords, EZE is not it. Now, well, first of all, big up to my guy, Jay. Hope you're doing well. But EZE is not it now. Don't think he changed as much last summer. Sound exciting, but now, meh. That's exactly it, bro. It's just not. It doesn't move the needle at this point. Make sure you, man, are subscribing, man. Make sure if you haven't already, there's 24 people in here. The like should be on 24, and the people them should have 24 subscribe. 24 likes, 24 likes. 20... Bro, it's still early, man. That's why I ain't finished my coffee. I'm trying to finish the coffee, and then I'll be awake. Salah is the boss. Bear man talking behind his back, but on mute when it's time to face him. Bro, bro, do you not forget? Yo, Dean, let's have something right, yeah? Salah's still in Jed Spence Penitentiary. Still in there. Ain't been let out. He's just been looking at it behind doors, waiting to come and buck my man again so he can get let out because, Jed Spence had him pocketed 2 games. 2 games. And guess what? I can't wait to face you, man, again so Jed Spence can do it another time. I'm just going to say. Just putting it out there. Baftemi Gomez has the streets during his time at Swansea. No. Boris. We're not talking about players having the streets. Gomez had the streets because he had that little celebration when he's doing the roaring thing and that. It was cold because it was unique. But let's be right. Baftemi Gomez never had the streets. That's like saying Wilfred Boney had the streets. Like he actually, do you know what? Wilfred Boney might have had the streets more. When Boney before he made that move to Man City, he was cooking. Quick feet and that. There was one time he done the flip-flap route through like 2 man's leg. Hey, yeah, Tony was cooking. Boney was cooking. This Tell guy is dead. Solanke would be making chance for himself. Didn't notice him. This isn't true. This is not true. The one thing that I will not have is if you want to think Tell's dead, that's cool. But Solanke doesn't make chances for himself. It's very rare that Solanke gets a lot of chances. My main complaint with Solanke or with us this season has been we don't create for Solanke, so he doesn't get a lot of the goals. A lot of the goals he does get are rebounds and the ball just falling to him. I don't think Solanke's. I feel like he could be playing better if the team actually created more for him. I don't think he's actually performed better than he was last season. There's no way. I'd rather Cunha from Wolves. In a coma knows ball. In a coma knows ball. Cunha would be a much better move. A much better move. I'll do both. I'll leave it there. Eze is good, but you guys should go all out for Kudus or Gittins. You guys, Junior knows ball. Junior knows ball. Kudus or Jamie Bino Gittins. If you haven't already, I made a video on Bino Gittins, rumor roundup. It's just a short video, so you can go watch that if you want to find out a bit more about Bino Gittins and what he's like as a player and the potential move at what we're looking at doing to bring him in. But he's a top summer transfer target for a lot of teams. Bino Gittins is cold. When you talk about doing like the 1v1, like I told you guys know me by now. Joga Benito Ballers, he's that. Simple as that. He's young, a bit unproven, probably needs to work in his goal scoring game a bit more. But there's certain young players you know are going to have a top quality within the next few years, and he's one of them. Kudus, though, I can't lie, I'd bite your hand off for Kudus. That should be one player we should go all out for, as a player like Kudus. But again, I think a lot of Premier League teams will be going in for him. I could imagine seeing him end up at like a Liverpool, potentially even an Arsenal. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. But big up to my guys, K's Ali. Hey, y'all. The only reason I like him is because he's better than Brennan Johnson and Werner. But yeah, I agree. He doesn't raise us to the next level. That's the thing. You can't sign players just because they're better than Brennan Johnson and Werner. Brennan Johnson and Werner are the floor of our team. We need players that are going to raise that floor significantly. So they need to be better than our best players, to be honest. I'm just being real, especially when you're spending 60, 65 million and these prices. But good morning to my guy, Mustafa. Morning, Jordan Hyper. Eze, is he really an upgrade on Maddison? That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. I don't think he is, man. Moussa Dembele is a Spurs midfielder of all time. Best Spurs midfielder. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I think he's up there. Moussa Dembele will be up there. Luka Modric. But again, you have to judge it for their time at Spurs. Modric's definitely the best player to ever play for Spurs. No doubt about that. Modric is going down as an all-timer of world football. Modric will probably be known as one of the greatest midfielders to ever play the game. So there's no doubt about that. And the fact that he wore a Spurs shirt, bro, it's cold. Cold. I'm gonna keep running that one until I'm dying. I'm gonna be so real. Yeah, Dembele. This is the thing though, Dean, and you know it as well. You know it as well, Dean, yeah? He never had this respect when he was playing. Like, actual people that liked football, they respected him for what he was. But at that time, it was, Paul Pogba's better than him. My back foot, Paul Pogba had 5 good appearances at Manchester United this season. And they were trying to compare him to Moussa Dembele. They were trying to tell me fucking Alex Song's better than him. I remember Arsenal fans telling me Coquelin. Fucking Francis Coquelin's better than him. This is what they were used to say. He only got respected, Moussa Dembele, after his time because people realized how good of a footballer he is. But I'm having Bale all day over Salah. Give me all the stats. Bale has the overhead kick moment. Big facts, Mustafa. There's no comparison. Bale was a much better player than he was. But yo! I need to get a soundboard or something. Big up to my guy in a coma, but for becoming a member. We have a new member in the building. People then rise. Hey, yo, big up to you in a coma, man. I appreciate the support every time. You're always checking into the lives, morning or night. So big up to you, my bro. Big up to you. I appreciate it massively. Morning, Driller. I hope you're well. Good morning, Jords in the chat. What's your thoughts on Eze potentially coming to Spurs, Driller? Let me know. Who would you like to see at Spurs? Is there any players you watch in the Premier League and you think that would improve our team next season? Let me know. We're talking summer transfer targets. We're talking about what players could be coming in. I want to know you guys' thoughts on who you think we should make the move for. Man conceded 10 goals in 2 games against us. How shameful. Well, now you're just choosing 2 games because we played you in 3 games. We beat you in 1 of them. How about that? How about that? I'm just saying. I'm just going to throw that out there, Dean. How about that? Hey. That's it, so. Literally so. He doesn't fashion his own chances enough. He needs the ball to come to him in a good position, and it needs to be within that 18-yard box, and that's when he's active and he's making his chances, and he's being creative. But outside of that, his hold-up play is decent. I think he's got some good give and goes, some really good link-up play. But he definitely doesn't create his own chances. He's not a player that's going to receive the ball back to go turn and then look to run at his man and score. I haven't seen that from him as of yet. I would like to, but I haven't. But if we went for Gittins, the Spurs fans would complain and cry that we went for youth yet again and went for potential. Yes. And that's where there's a thin line, Boris. There's a very thin line, because I'll be real, I've been that fan. I am a hypocrite sometimes. I've been that fan. I've been that guy to complain at the fact that we keep signing, young players. We keep trying to recruit for our nursery. Yeah. We've got enough childminders looking after them already. I feel like we need experience. We need some teachers now. You can't run a nursery without teachers. And most definitely, if you do have a nursery, you need like 4 teachers for a classroom. That's for 20 kids. Because I don't know if you guys have kids or even try to look after kids. Looking after for a couple is hard enough. Imagine having 10 kids running around and you got one man. You need teachers on the pitch to talk to them. Talk them through games in the tough moments, just giving them those little motivational speeches. Bro, don't sweat it. It's 0-0. We're coming back. Forget about the goal. Let's just get another one. When you're going ahead late in a game and guys start to get gassed, bro, don't lose your head. It's still in. We need another one. We need to see this out. Focus. You need someone to just be on the pitch coaching these things and talking to the players. And when you have loads of young players, you can't do that. You can't do that effectively. So you just have to be, you have to find a balance between signing the young players and bringing in the experienced players. But I'll be honest, Bino Gittins, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't complain. He's too cold. Michael from Poland, big up to you, bro. Kudus is mid as fuck. I don't get the hype. He does a couple fancy things, but that's not true, man. Say Kudus has no end product is so disingenuous. We have to admit this season's been a poor season from him. It has. It's been a poor season, but I feel like that's been caveated with the fact that West Ham have had a generally bad season. Their attack hasn't clicked at all. They signed all these players, but not many of them performing to the level required. I do think that under Lopetegui is just a rubbish manager. David Moyes got the best out of Kudus and knew how to use him. But Lopetegui, he's meaty, bro. Meaty manager. He's not going to get nothing out of him. Mustafa. Rodgers, I'll say it right now. I think Rodgers has been the best number 10 in the league this season. Best number 10 in the league this season. He's just been so effective. He's scoring goals. He's assisting. He's all-round play. He's a road runner. Proper English player. Road runner. He's got tech, but he's also a bulldozer running through the midfield. Strong. You can shoot. Like, Rodgers has it all. He has the ability to go to the top. I really rate him. I do really rate him. Josh Hayden. All right, let me know what you guys think was Josh's picks. He's got Buonanotte. Doesn't move me. Decent player, but doesn't move me. Gibbs White. Decent player. Doesn't move me. I think Gibbs White is good for Nottingham Forest, but if you come to a Spurs, again, like a Maddison, you need to take a step forward. I don't think that he will. I think that he will drown at Spurs. Cunha, you guys know my thoughts on him. I'll jump all over that. Pause. Gittins, same thing. I'm all over that. Sule. Now, for the guys that don't know, Matthias Sule, do you know what? I'm pretty sure he was a Juventus youngster. I'm not sure if I think he might be at Roma now. I'm pretty sure he's at Roma. I'm pretty sure he signed for Roma. I don't know if it was on loan or if he got signed to them, but he made a move to Roma. Hasn't been the best move for him. I feel like he has, again, a lot of potential, but at age of 21, it's not a player that I would look to and be like, yeah, bring him in. I still need to see a bit more from Sula. I think he's really good. Sule, sorry. I think he's really good. High potential. He's got a great take on game. But again, the end product for him is one of those where you're probably like, I need to see more. Now, No. And then the next one was Tillman. I'm pretty sure you're talking about Tillman from, is it Feyenoord? Oh, the team's gonna miss me now. It may be Feyenoord or PSV, but I feel like I know who you're talking about. The cam. Feyenoord. I feel like it's him. Malik Tillman. That's it. Malik Tillman. Again, I can't really say I've watched this player too tough. I can't say I've watched PSV too tough this season. I've seen a few games in the Champions League. He looks tidy. He does look tidy, but I'll be real. I ain't on signing US players. Players from USA are median. I'm not trying to be the guy. I'm not racist or nothing. But if you're a footballer and you're from the USA, clearly something's gone wrong. Clearly something's gone wrong, because if you're USA citizenship, you should be playing NFL, you should be playing NBA, you should be playing MLB, because there's more money over them sides. If you're playing football, it's because you couldn't make it at any of them other things. I'm just saying. How many good players are there from the USA? Not many. Bro, that is a real baller. Big up to Archer. Carlos Baleba from Brighton has been top quality this season. Proper baller. Baleba is one of those ones where I think he's going to be going 100, maybe even more than Caicedo. I think he has a higher potential. Definitely better than Basuma, bro. I still can't believe we got the worst player from Brighton. One of the worst players from Brighton we got. Like, I can't believe it. Player I really wanted was Marmoush. We should have gotten him during last summer, as he would have been perfect for us and ready to go and improve a lot of our own issues we've been dealing with. We should have, but no, Spurs. To be fair, he didn't even cost that much. I don't even know what the sticking point would have been. I think a lot of people just didn't expect to see Marmoush blow the way he did this season. So he's had a good season. He's been class, and I feel like since he's coming to Manchester City, he's just taking it a step forward. I can't make any complaints about Marmoush. I think he's cold, stone cold. Would you be happy with the lap? If we signed the lap as a competition for Solanke, I'd be happy, but not as our multifunctional forward. Like, I'd happily have him as part of depth, and when Solanke's out and, just chopping and changing different types of players. But I wouldn't be happy as just signing the lap and be like, yeah, this is the guy to take our forward line. Nah. There's no chance. Are you a fan of Reinders at AC? Yeah, I like Reinders. Again, though, don't feel like it's a profile that we need. I feel like we probably need to focus on it. I feel like we need to just see how the season ends, to be honest, to see if Ange actually still going to be in a job. Because if Ange isn't in the job, then the whole profiles of what we are looking for will change entirely. And we need to see what manager comes in, what we're going to need to play their system, what players. We do have a good mixture of profiles at the moment. I will say that a lot of young players coming through that could potentially add to the team. Even young players out on loan. The likes of George Abbott, Jamie Donnelly. Josh Keeley's a goalkeeper, but he'll probably get another big loan next season. You've also got Alfie Devine coming back from loan. You've got Voskovic. You've got a lot of players coming back from loan that could potentially add to the first team squad as well. So who knows? Like, I feel like we've just got to see how the season plays out, to be honest, to see, especially in the midfield. That's what I mean with Reinders. Like, especially in those positions, what profile we're going to need. Because I'm still convinced that we need a 6. But people, if you haven't already, it's disgraceful if you've been here all this time and you haven't done it. But hit the likes. Don't take a second. It don't cost a thing. So it'd be much appreciated if you just show me some love. Tap the like button, post notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. If you want to chat to me on any of the other platforms or see some of my other content, or, like I say, just talk and, football takes and rubbish, go follow me on Durag Diaries, TikTok, and YouTube. Also, Durag Diaries 1 on Instagram. That has now been made because a lot of people did request it. So you just write Durag Diaries, it should come up. Someone's got the domain, don't want to release the domain. It's actually an inactive account, so it makes no sense. The guy got 0 followers, 0 posts, but his name is Durag Diaries. So Durag Diaries 1 on the Instagram. And but everything you see on there, you'll likely see on YouTube or TikTok. So if you follow one of them, it counts. You know what I mean? It counts. How about instead of going for Eze, we go for Adam Wharton? I'd fucking love that. I like Wharton. Again, good player. Still need to see more of him. He had a good end to the last season. A lot of people were putting him in conversations that I didn't believe he was ready for. Adam Wharton's a good player, class player as well, but he's been out for the majority of the season. He needs to play a bit more football, and they're probably going to command a huge fee from him. I feel like going to Crystal Palace for players is just a nightmare. It's actually just a nightmare in general, unless you're going to pay over the odds. So you need to be prepared for that. Josh says Kudus has been shit this season, but Lopetegui used him badly, but he was great last season. His decision making is really bad though. Also, he's definitely a better central than on the wing. He's better central behind the striker, definitely. When he was at Ajax, he played a lot of his time in the 10. And they play with sort of shadow strikers, you know, when they had Donny van de Beek and so on. They have players that sort of play in behind the striker. And they're always within that half space. And Kudus thrived there. At West Ham, has been asked to operate off the left-hand side. And I still think he's dangerous. I think he's a good winger. He's better than Eze, I'll be honest. If I had to choose between him and Kudus and Eze, I would say Kudus every single day. But man, like Tyler Diblin, he's going to be on his way out. And he's rumoured to be, again, one of Spurs' top targets. With Southampton all but confirmed to be relegated, they're going to be commanding a fee for him. But with them being relegated, I don't feel like they're going to be in the position to talk the prices that they were talking about in January, the 60, 65 millions. I think Tyler Diblin will go, but maybe we can take him away from them for about 40 million pounds. Very good player. But again, man, so many young players. So many young players. I want to start speaking about experienced players like Acuna coming to Spurs. That's what I want to speak about. But Dan feels like he's not. Dan says Cunha's not coming Spurs. Then where is Cunha going? Where is Cunha going? But Destiny, big up to you, Destiny 5. Your options. Spurs should sign Cunha, Braithwaite or Branthwaite, and Paulinho from Bayern. Sol Romero, Basuma, Richie, ASAP. Cunha's a good option. I like Branthwaite. I think Branthwaite's a good defender at Everton, to be honest. Paulinho, he just made the move there, and that was a fairly hefty price move from Fulham. So I can't see him coming back to the Prem already. But I could see Spurs doing business with Bayern, so could potentially happen. Drula, I heard we're going in for Sane. Oi, I'll be nah. This is one that this was split the fan base. This one was split the fan base because Sane is out of contract. So he would come on free. It'd be a big money signing, as in we would be paying him a lot of money. Sane would probably come Spurs on 200k a week easily. But the Sane you're seeing today, yeah, Sane of 2025 is not the Sane of 2018. Not the 22, 23-year-old exciting, explosive winger that was running down the wing, banging goals for fun. He's not that player. He's not that same player. Just like Gnabry, he's past his best. Doesn't always start for Bayern at the moment. This season's got like 7-8 goals. He's really not been that impressive. And I suppose for him, he's 29 years of age. So if we do bring him in and you put him on like a 4-year contract, he's going to be in a position similar to Son in a few years where we've got a player that's old, he's declining, and we've got him on big money. So I don't know. I don't know if Sane works out for me. If it's like a 2-3, do you know what? If it's a 2-3 year deal, I'd be open to it. But if we sign Sane on like a 4-year contract, I don't see how this works out. I don't think Sane is going to be a player that's going to thrive into his 30s. I feel like within a few years, you see Sane at like I don't want to be disrespectful because Sane is still a baller in it, but maybe like a PSV or something. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him at a team like that, just seeing out his career in a league that's a bit slower. But I would not go United if I was him. Who are you talking about, Dan? Who are you talking about? So Ange's style is I talk to the pre-match and halftime so they know what to do. In that case, we need a strong leader who can keep that information on the pitch. Yeah, Yeah, that I think the thing is with Ange is he has this like old school mentalities, and I can't blame him. Like I've told these guys what to do; they know what their jobs is. So if they know their job, why is that going to change at halftime? Why is that going to change at full time? We have one way of playing. It's just who we are, mate. I get that. And I understand it, but at the same time, you do need to adapt. And sometimes a leader on the pitch is going to help you adapt. A leader on the pitch is going to just not move players' positions, because that doesn't happen. But he will be able to tell someone, "You come here, you come here. We're going to get tight for the next 10 minutes. We're going to just try and see out this pressure, and then go back to playing how the way we play." Older guys just they read the game so much better, so they can see stuff coming before it happens, and can only do so much on the sidelines. You need someone on the pitch to do that. But big up to everyone, like Destiny said, man. Big up to everyone that's been in the chat. We're going to be wrapping this up real soon, and I'm going to send you guys over to Hotspur Cave, because Jay's over there, and he's running up a chat. So you guys can go join Jay. Let him know you come over from Durag Diaries. But we're going to get through all the messages first, because as you guys know, I'm like an old man myself. I'm like always 10 minutes behind the chat. Standard. Standard. Last time an American player was good in the Prem was Dempsey, and I'm not seeing a good Premier American since Boris. Bro, I agree wholeheartedly. The only other American that I've seen Spurs have, or actually few, Brad Friedel, and he was, again, for what Fraser Forster done, before there was Fraser Forster, there was Brad Friedel, an old man that come to Spurs sort of at the end of his career, but he was cold. Brad Friedel was actually a good goalkeeper for what we needed. He was a good backup for Hugo Lloris in his first couple years, and also just before he signed as well. So I like Brad Friedel, but apart from that, Yedlin. Where is Yedlin even playing now? Because I thought I saw this guy's stats. I can't lie, I was young in it. So when Yedlin came to Spurs, I remember just looking at my man's FIFA card. I scored 94 pace, and I was sold. I was sold. I was like, this guy is the next thing. DeAndre Yedlin is going to be the next best right back in world football. This was like 11 years ago, innit? So don't judge me. Like, this is old school. Came to Spurs, played one game at that year. And I was like, rah, this player's looking meaty. Went to Sunderland, and then it was just like, he's not that good. And then Spurs sold him. Sold him to Newcastle. And then now he's playing at FC Cincinnati at 31 years of age, which is sort of expected. He's from America, so it's expected that he plays over there. But before he did play Galatasaray for a season. I feel like every player that leaves the Prem has a stint in the Turkish league. Like, it's part of. It's like, just there must be a contract you sign that when you're getting old, where you're gonna go, Turkish league, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, or Besiktas. One of those teams, you have to. So many Prem players make that move, and if it's not there, it's Greece. They're gonna go play for Olympiacos. It always happens, and we ain't gonna discuss that, Mustafa. We ain't discussing none of that. Marmoush would have probably cost us 40-50 if we went and got him in the summer, since City got him during the best season in January for 70 million euros. Yeah, you're right. We probably could have. But Andrew will make it to next season, Mustafa thinks. Let me know if you guys think that too, man. Let me know if you guys think that he'll make it to next season. But I like Donnelly more than Scarlett, but Scarlett has potential. Scarlett does have potential, but Donnelly is one of those cultured left-footed players. I don't. You guys have to see Donnelly's goal catalogue. I would get up and show you, but I don't want to get copyright striked. Donnelly's goal catalogue for Leyton Orient, yeah, the O's. Big up to the O's every single time, local club and that. Man's got the halfway line goal that he scored against City that they tried to call an own goal. He scored a volley from outside the edge of the box the other day. He scored a free kick a few weeks ago. He's got so many. Just the goal catalogue's going crazy over there. Any news on Moore coming back? I didn't even know Moore was injured. I thought that he'd just been dropped from the team. Marcus, no, we didn't have a show today. We done a midweek show on Tuesday because there's midweek games. But because there's no games this weekend, me and Hooks didn't run up a show. So we'll be back next Friday. Sorry. I know, guys. people usually look forward to that prediction show. We couldn't make it this week. Don't think that there will be a North Divide on Monday either. There may not be a North Divide because there's no Premier League games, and the last games would have been Man City and Nottingham Forest. Probably be too far gone to talk about those games nearly a week later. So we might skip the North Divide on Monday as well. But back to when the Premier League is back to normal schedule, we'll be back to normal schedule. One of them ones. Well, big up to you, Marcus. I don't think that they can play together. I don't think they can, Dan, because Maddison's already being rotated with Kulusevski and Bergvall. Like, he's really not playing at the required level. So if you get EZE in there, you're now rotating 3 players for one position, and you have to choose your number one player. You can't just keep playing. You can't keep rotating players because they're not going to stay sharp. And also, a player needs to stay in form. You need to keep using them. So, yeah, you can swap and change here and there, but players need to play themselves into form as well as they need to keep playing themselves when they're in form. It's one of those ones. So when you're playing bad, you still need to play. And there's not going to be enough minutes to go around if we sign him in the same position. Big up to you, Grant. I don't think I've seen you in here before. But I'd love it if we got EZE and Mateta or Semenyo and Mateta. That's good shouts. That's a few good shouts. I hear it. I do hear it. But I get you, Dan. I'm sick of all the kids. I hear you, bro. We definitely need some adults in the team. What do you think of Southampton centre-back Bella Kocha? I think he's good. But I don't feel like Spurs need to sign a centre-back from Southampton. If Spurs are going to sign a centre-back, we got to sign a Romero replacement. You know what I mean? We need to sign someone again, experience. Like, all these young players are cool. I think he's good. I think he's got a potential, but I need to see him again at a team that's a bit better. When you're playing for a Southampton, you're going to drown because you've also got that other guy, Howard Bellis, that people will talk about. But I don't think either of them are that great. I just think they're decent players that maybe look better in a team that's shit. You know, them way there. But man, like Yasser, big up to you, my bro. If you guys haven't seen, I dropped a little clip on Yasser. He was cooking up Manchester United. It's only 30 seconds. Ruben scammer him settings. If you go watch that, yeah, make sure you tap on Yasser's channel, show some love, go subscribe to the boy. But yeah, man, slap the likes. As he said, slap the likes, people. Slap the likes. I'm not a massive fan of Leao. Leao is one of those players like Luis Diaz, like Adoku, who, again, they're ballers, innit? And they're stand-up wingers, but at the same time, they've mastered the art of doing a whole lot of anything. A whole lot without doing nothing. It's like someone just speaking, but not giving their opinion. They're just speaking, but won't tell you what they really think. That's him. They don't land. They don't ever land. So Leao's decent. I think he's so overrated, though. So overrated, Leao is, man. Let me just try to catch up with the chat. We're gonna raid Hotspur Cave. We should look at Ben Seguier from Monaco. He's been good. All YouTubers will be speaking about him in a few years. Okay, Jay with the scout watch. I'm gonna keep an eye out for him. Ben Seguier. I'm gonna get this in one of my open tabs and just leave this here and do some research on him in the background once we finish this one up, because I ain't heard of him. I'm not one of these YouTubers that can tell you I've heard of every single player, because I haven't. I don't watch football all day, every day. I try to stay tuned in when I can and watch some of the other leagues every now and then. But yeah, I'm gonna do some research on this one. Don't know about him, but thank you, Jay. Man, like Scout Jay in the building, you know. Brad Fiedel was involved when Cat got on the pitch at an Anfield match, Liverpool versus Spurs, about 2008. Yeah, for real. I remember that. Even there was that time when Liverpool conceded against Sunderland when the ball hit the balloon and the refs were just like, it counts. That made no fucking sense. It makes no sense. Yo, I didn't realize that Wanyama's still playing ball. There's no way Wanyama's still playing ball. I can see why. You know them African man they're built. He's playing for FC Montreal. How old is he though? 30. Wanyama's only 33. That's crazy. So when Wanyama is at Spurs, he was a young G. Yeah, Wanyama come to Spurs as a prospect. I thought this, bro, if you look at pictures of Wanyama at Spurs, he looks like a 30-year-old grown man. There's no way this guy was 23 at Spurs. There is absolutely No way Wanyama was 23 at Spurs. That's crazy. Wanyama was chefing it up in his first 2 seasons. That's mad. I can't believe Wanyama was a young G when he comes to Spurs. I can't believe it. Big up to my guy, get that stinky fraud Arteta out of my club. Big up, Jords. Your defender, Carter Vickers, was an American footballer. And I don't rate him. I don't rate that guy at all, whatsoever. Furthermore, I'll give you guys a little story. I've seen him one time. I was at the club. I was with someone that he knew, one of his friends, previous someone's. He was trying to chat rubbish to man. To let my man know, well, like straight away, bro, I am not that guy. You're a footballer. Focus on footballing. These times he's playing for Ange at Celtic. It was only like 3 years ago or something. He's playing for Ange at Celtic. I was like, bro, what are you doing down these sides? Go focus on your match before you won't be making your match. You know that right there, bro. I will not like Carter Vickers. People can let him know, bro. Carter Vickers is a shit footballer at all. He's a square head as well, fam. I don't rate that guy. I'll be so real. I don't rate him whatsoever. I said he's American. What is an American doing playing ball in England? Like, bro, go play NBA. Go play. Bro, he's built like an NFL player as well. Just bare like a fucking fridge. He's built like a fridge freezer, fam. Like, I'll be so real. Yeah, man. Andrew will be here next season. Got to give him the 3rd season. Some new signings and injuries and return. Let's see. Let's see, man. Let's see with Ange. It'll be interesting to see if he does eventually make it to the 3rd season. I don't think he will, but it would be interesting to see. Would you take Gahey, Jords? No. I'll keep it really short. I wouldn't take Gahey. Not a big fan of him either. What do you think of Bilal El-Khanous? I think El-Khanous is good. Don't think that he's a player that we need, but I think he's good. If you're asking me just on my general opinion on him, I think he's a good player. He's dangerous. For Leicester, he creates out on that left-hand side. And obviously, he scored that good goal against us. So I rate El-Khanous, just not a player that I would look at bringing to Spurs. That's not a player that I would look at bringing to Spurs. But them Africans always lying about their age. I wouldn't be surprised. Wanyama looks about 38. I don't believe that he's 33. That means he's like a year or two older than Yedlin. I don't believe that. I'll be real. I don't believe that. I definitely don't believe it. But yeah, people, look, I'm gonna end the show here. Real quick, Carter Vickers gave Bayern that goal too. See, Americans shouldn't play ball. And furthermore, Canadians, throw them in there too, because Alphonso Davies, that rap, I'm not even going to try to repeat it. Horrible. Never go in the booth again. Cancel yourself. No engineer should ever want to work with Alphonso Davies. Can't rap. Ain't even got the Toronto accent. It's just, everything he does is meaty. Just stick to ball, bro. Stick to ball. But yeah, man, look, we're going to raid, man, like Hotspur Cave J. He's doing a Spurs community talk right now. So if you guys want to listen to small Spurs talk and you want to stay up to date with everything, make sure you show some love to my guy, Hotspur Cave. But before you head out over here, if you haven't already, smash the like button. And yeah, Jay, man, you have a nice day too. Man says I'm in the sun. Or do you know what? The sun is actually out today. The sun is actually out in the UK. So I'm not even going to say you're showing off because the sun is actually out today. But I hope you do enjoy, man. Time on a cruise. I bet you're living your life right now. But yeah, man, big up to the people. Shout out to you. And make sure you tap a little DRD raid in the chat of Hotspur Cave. Big up. We're out.